We're lucky enough to get to present here. My name's David Zachary. This is Jesse Brown. We are Zachary Engineering. We're engineers that operate from Iowa to Hawaii, and we're able to do it all out of one central office in Tahoe. We've been doing business for 30 years, and we're mostly in the high and residential market. A lot of work with mix owners, a lot of familiar faces in here, work with butter. I'm excited to introduce Jesse to discuss today's topic, which is how we run through details, how we take a model and turn it into hundreds of details. And it's going to happen fast. Don't expect to keep up. We will post this on our website and also at SketchUp. You got that. Jesse Byrne. AKA. Here we go. That was last Basecamp. So today's topic, we're going to look at efficient structural detailing, kind of look at what it takes in SketchUp, what it takes to lay out, kind of move forward from there. There's a few things I want to get to at the end if we have some time, but just, an hour is not a lot of time with Q&A in the end. Just beforehand, where we have as far as who has done some detailing in SketchUp and layout? Okay, vast majority, that's pretty good. Who's like under a year in SketchUp? Okay, you're all by yourself. So we're all pretty fluent in what we're doing. So do ask your questions as they pop up. This could be easier to answer that way. Oh, Dave's going to interject. Sorry, how many architects? You engineers? All right, we got a few. Okay, perfect invitation. So today we're gonna talk about layout detailing goals we came up with. We'll explain why we wanted to change the way we did it. Briefly, the extensions, just a couple extensions or relevant detailing that we use that are really helpful. You'll see why. We'll get into it, do an example. Then we're gonna move into the ZE detail library, which is kind of our big internal product we use to generate our detail sheets very, very fast. We're going to go a little bit further and actually look at editing and creating new details from within the library, which is a good trick for anyone that does details that are pretty close to each other. And then at the end, we're just going to very quickly build a full detail sheet using the detail library so you can see what's possible and how fast that can happen. I didn't put it in here, but if we have some time at the end, some of the new stuff we're doing is linking Excel into layout, which is kind of cool, and I'll showcase that one bit if we have a little bit of extra time. Okay, so we've got a lot of people done some detailing. Just what we have in here, who's had issues detailing with layout? Yeah, okay, throw some of them out. What are those issues? Anyone?
We're upgraded and all that crap.
That's okay, that will do it here. What else? No one? It all works so perfectly. Glove, you raised your hand. You just raised your hand. Okay, I won't put you on the spot. Your best. This is so long. Okay, who's had linking problems? And that model's disappearing on them. And then you get the big, exclamation point of death on the screen. You had that? No? Okay. Few of us. All right, so some of the goals we came up with when we set up on this kind of mission to become more efficient with our detailing is minimize the time required to find details that have already been drawn. So whether you're working in a team on a server or a remote desktop kind of situation, how do you find the details you've been drawn? A lot of times it comes down to Windows Explorer and hunt the title, which is massively inefficient. Who's done that? Anyone? And it's okay, we do that. All right, okay. How do you minimize the number of models that are shown in a detail sheet? So if we say a standard 24 by 36 sheet, we probably have anywhere from 9 to 15 details, depending on your sizes. That's a lot of models in a sheet, right? How do we get that down so layout can more efficiently run? We probably noticed we have some, seasoned people in here that the more models and more references you have in the layout file, the worse it works. Right? It's gotten better as we've gone into SketchUp 24, hopefully better as we move forward, but especially earlier on, 20, 21, 22, the bigger those files get, the slower layout ran. So that goes into the next one, minimize the file sizes to keep it running smoothly. And we also briefly already talked about avoiding the unlinking of the missing files. I remember at times if you get one that unlinks, or we switched over our server approach and you go to an old job and every single one of your details is unlinked, that takes an hour plus to go find where all those details were. It's a total mess. So those are the big ones. Let's look at the extensions real quick. I'm just going to touch on these because we're going to look at them once we jump into SketchUp. Auto invisible layer. Anyone use that? Perfect. Very, very helpful. Changes the game. And interrupt view memory. Anyone? Anyone even heard of that one? I hadn't either. It's a really cool extension. And not quite extensions or plugins, but your local libraries are very important too, both on the SketchUp side and on the detail side. Okay, let's go back to this one because we've got, nope, I'm gonna go back one and we're gonna go right into layout. So let's take a look at so here we've got, you probably saw this one, or something similar to it getting drawn in that first video, right? So I'm gonna really quickly prove to you that having multiple models, multiple scenes, multiple details in one SketchUp model is much, much smaller, right? If I just tell that to you, you go, yeah, okay, sure, but I'll prove it to you. So we've got here is just two detail, one model. I've got two details with two models. We look at doc setup. I've got two completely separate models here, right? You'll get where I'm going in just a second. Full sheet, and then same for the one model. All of our scenes, multiple models, all those scenes, right? And those are not just screen clips, if you're wondering really. But let's look at that. So if we look at our layout files in our detail sheets. So if we look at one detail, one model, we've got about, 1,500 kilobytes, right? Not that big a deal. Two details, one model. It's almost the same model, but we've got double the geometry. Layout operates a little bit differently the way it reads it, so it's almost double, okay? Now what happens when we go to those full sheets? Full details, one model, 7,000, multiple models, 14,000. That's a lot, right? So when we start looking at our own internal sheets, right, we're dealing with very custom models. Like these can get very, very big. It got to the point that we had our detail pages for just one sheet, and you go, this is S, 0.1, one sheet, new file, 0.2, move on, and it's just to keep it layout running smoothly. So what we decided to do was how do we make this, and it was actually part of Nick's input here, how do we bring these into one model? Let me jump into one. So here's what we got. I don't know, that's the wrong model. Let's jump around, sorry guys. Let's go to that detail we had here. If it wants to. Okay, it doesn't want to open, that's fine. So what we have here is, let's just jump, I'll skip half a step, it's not that big a deal. So what we have here is we're actually reusing the geometry as best we can, the components, the groups, and just updating our scenes. So if we take a look at our tags, I'll probably call those layers a couple times, it's no big deal. We watch what's turning on and off here, right? So if I come in and I look at where we had, I'm reusing geometry. That's limiting the size of our layout file. So how do we do that? How do we create that or open? So it was actually much more difficult before we discovered the auto visible layer. So for those that do not know how that works, what we can do is we can turn this on. Now every layer that we add past this is not going to go to any existing scenes. Right? We've done that before, everyone. I'm assuming in SketchUp where you make it and then every single one of your scenes you have to go back and redo. Total pain. Takes a bunch of time. So let's just, for the sake of this.
How does that differ from the add hidden layer extensions?
I don't know that extension, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, couldn't answer that.
probably it.
It's probably very, very similar. And they are talking about that might become an addition into SketchUp directly too. We might not need the extension.
The auto invisible.
So what?
The auto invisible layer.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. So let's just look at that. Let's just go ahead and add OV or whatever. Doesn't matter for what we're doing. And let's just, for the heck of it. Sorry, drafting on this little tiny area is not really easy, guys. Like that. Okay, so let's just really quickly. This is not really pretty, and this isn't going to a jurisdiction, so no one yell at me over here. Just group the. Just put that on OB part. Okay, so now most of our time when we're doing details is not necessarily saved in SketchUp. It's saved in layout, right? It's all those little clicks. It's all the callouts. That's really going to save you time. So the closer we can have our scene, the better. So let's just do this and turn off our hurt. Oh, let's just put a ram back in here for looks weird, right? Grip share. I'm just going to save this as so we don't mess up my file. Normally you would just save it. No, let's just save it. I don't care if I mess up my file. It doesn't matter, right? So let's make a scene. Just follow this scene too. That's fine. I'll save it. Okay, let's just update this one. So we noticed nothing's really changed. That detail's all good. There was a bug in 23, a little bit in 22, where if you did that, it would jack up all your layers, but that's been fixed in 24. So this is now a current file. Sorry, normally I work on 3 screens. Okay, so now here we are. All we have to do now was come in and tweak. But you can imagine if you took this whole detail and redid all of these leaders, it's going to take you a lot of time, right? And that's what we're trying to save. So that's the brief one, right? I know I'm a little bit jumpy, but I want to get to the fun stuff because that's the full part. So let's move back to this. And what are our detailing goals? Let's look at this first one, right? What do we do to minimize the time required? Oh, I hate you. Wrong button. Oh boy. I'll get there. Next one. Come on. That's why I work at SketchUp and not PowerPoint. Okay. So let's look at the first one, right? These other are also going to fall in a little bit. We're going to do it again. But minimize the time required to find already drawn details. Okay. The biggest issues. The bottom one is what we'll start with. Using Windows Explorer is not the option, right? Going to your job folders and typing in, well, I want hurt floor hydronics, and waiting for all those details to pop up, go into that job folder, finding that detail, opening it up, finding the page it's on, copying that, bringing it back in until you get the idea, right? I mean, I can't do it in one breath. The other one is the searching in scrapbooks inside layouts not possible, right? If you have a limited library, you can do it with the scrapbook titles, but our library internally is over 6,000 details. That's a lot for layout to process continually. It just slows it down. I can't do it. If I'm the one drafting them all and I'm the one finding all the details, you can make it work. But if you're working with a team, everyone has to know where to find those details because they didn't draw them. They have to know where to look. So what we came up with was the ZE detail library. Current internal version, 14 detail categories broken out by 26 models into 180 layout scrapbooks and over 6,000 plan-ready structural details, all in one file. Let's look at it. If I can find an info. There it is, the ZE detail library. So what we had to do is figure out a way to quickly find all of these details. Scrapbooks wasn't it. Windows Explorer is not it. So what we created was this. This is a 1900-page PDF document. Yeah, 1900 pages. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click through just really quick. All of our abbreviations, I'm not going to read these all to you. Sorry. We'll figure it out as we go. So here's what we're going to do. Here's our primary index. So let's start with, we're looking at floor to floor, right? So let's look at a floor to floor detail. How's that size? Can you guys read that? Okay. So floor to floor. O3 doesn't really matter, that's just our sorting. So we're going to go floor to floor. Okay. What do we think? Hydronics? No hydronics. Someone call it out. Hydronics. Hydronics, okay. So we're hydronics, and what are we using for the floor? Solid joists, truss joists, TGIs?
TGI.
TGI with hydronics. Okay, so we're going to go floor to floor, hydronics. And what about interior or exterior? So we've got like continuous joists, or we're at an exterior wall?
Exterior wall.
Exterior wall, okay. Exterior wall, TGI with hydronics. Cool. Now, what do you think? Perp or para?
Fair.
Para, wall above?
Yes.
Okay, wall above and below. Okay, currently in the library, that's the one detail we have set. Okay, now I can't do anything to this. I'm not going to screen clip it. But check this out. Let's note the page. All right, I'm going to close this so I don't cheat. Nothing's open, nothing behind the curtain. So, I can find Bluebeam.
No.
And we went, what did we do? We did parallel above below. There's my ready to go detail. I'm going to copy that. I have it over the template. Let's just do that real fast. So, blank detail template, right? I'm going to copy that group. Don't mind like very slow little pop top here. There we go. Okay, now where it sits a little bit. Voila. All right. And once close that one, let's just grab another detail for the heck of it. Foundation. Foundation. We're going to go out of order on these plan sets. That's okay. Jump to index. Let's go. Foundation. What do we have? Concrete or CMU?
Concrete.
Concrete. Let's just go with a continuous footing. Let's just go with a wall, right? Let's say slab. So we're going to go right there, stem with wall. Still wall. That detail that we want. Or let's just say we want all these details, doesn't matter.
Jesse, can you explain how you're jumping from the?
I was waiting for someone to yell at me for that. That's Nick that does it. So yeah, let me paste these in. So what we've done is we've essentially created a hyperlink to PDF, right? So if we look at, so we see these that this is where it takes a lot of planning, a lot of time, is this scrapbook is where that page is located. O1 foundation concrete continuous, right? And it's listing out the page it's on, which we'll need. But we've essentially created a hyperlink that's telling this thing where to look to open that file. All those files are located on a folder on our server that's never going to change location. And we avoid all of the hyperlink or the unlink and all the missing issues, right? I won't go into how to hyperlink that. It's Googleable, and you need good PDF software to do that.
Bluebeam.
Bluebeam does it. Yep. Bluebeam will do it.
I was like, we're here using more.
This is Bluebeam. Yeah, this is the older version of Bluebeam, but yeah, yes. Okay, so there's kind of the wow moment. But let's go and let's just open this up so you can get a sense of what it looks like to have multiple models in one, or multiple details in one model. Like we did it earlier, that was just one quickie. Okay, cool, what we do. But again, if we think about the time it takes to generate details, it's in layout. So if we can keep those scenes the same as the geometry thing, it's going to be much quicker to recreate your detail. So we're going to do that really fast. That's if SketchUp decides to open.
So by opening it in SketchUp through here,
Yes.
are you potentially altering your existing life?
If I save, and not if you're one step ahead of me. So yeah, that's a very good point. Those that are not run across this, if I go in and I alter an existing detail in SketchUp and I save that, it's going to then update all those details in all of the prior projects, which is why we save as details, right? If you're doing a project-specific detail. But if we're looking at this, where are you? Here's where we are. Let's just see what we're looking at for scenes here. No, yeah, find the. No. These are all the scenes that are built into this detail. And this is actually one of the smaller ones. But so let's just say we have this detail, and now we're going to go, we don't want to alter where this has been anywhere else. We have a very custom, specific situation we need for this job. This is where one of those plugins come in. Let's just select all. Let's just copy this thing. Let's go to extensions. Now we're going to go out and we'll leave that on. We're going to do another one, enter off view memory. So what this is going to do is it's going to memorize the view that we have currently with all of the tags, layers, and fog, any sections, if you're writing sections, anything, it's going to memorize it right here. So we're just wanting to memorize this view. Now, as Eric brought up here, don't save just in case you did something. We were close. Got a free for you and raw. No, that's super cheap. It's 20, 25 bucks, okay? Rough. And a rough way. And a rough view memory. I will SketchUp's trying. It's trying. Laptops are heavy. Okay, dead time. Because we're not on the review. Okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and paste that into place, right? So I have this, and let's just make our edit real quick. Let's just say, I don't know, it doesn't even matter, right? For some reason, we've got, a box that we have right here or something that we wanted to just add to our detail for winter. Doesn't matter, right? So now if we're gonna try and match that exact part by hand, it's not going to work. So when we relink and layout, all of our leaders are going to go everywhere. And then you got to spend 5 minutes fixing it all. Let's do this. Go back to that plugin. Let's recall a view. All right. And we're just going to match our custom style that we had before. Add a scene. Save this. Let's just make this bold.
Is the view memory memorizing the style too?
Yes, it does memorize the style. It applies the style, but then it doesn't quite update it. So the easiest way to do it is to go back. It's going to ask you to create a new style. So I just click our custom style once so it doesn't yell at me. We're just going to save this thing. Where was I at? Here, good boss. All right, that's Hera, so I did a great job there. No content, also. So let's just do it to this detail here. Now we're going to go into the detail. Doesn't matter, it has hydraulics, it's all in the same detail. Let's just relink this. There. Oh, look, our fox. Come here, hydraulics went away, so I could just reuse that call out. This is going to be box spoiler, yay. So right there, we just used our library to create a detail that's very, very similar, and we only had to alter one callout in that brand new detail. So if you plan this ahead, or you have some kind of a detail that's close, you can save a tremendous amount of time. What would that take most people? Read that detail, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes if you're really fast. So label that thing out. So that is a huge, huge time saver. Questions so far? Who else has got some? Anyone? I'm kind of talking fast and all over the place, but
So you started off to PDF files in Bluebeam, yes, and you copy what? What was it? Was this doing SketchUp all the?
I copied a group in layout. Let's do another one. I'll walk through again. Let's just pick a new one. Flush to beam, that one, and let's just call it that. Okay, so what we have is a PDF page in Bluebeam or whatever PDF editor that you're using. Again, not free versions of anything. They're not going to be able to handle stuff like this. But good Bluebeams, good Adobes, stuff like that can do fancy stuff like this. So what we have is we are just going to click the hyperlink.
Well, so that exists on that page as what? Links to.
This is just a created PDF. This is not the this is
At all.
yep, it's right here.
It's linking to a page.
It's all right. So we're gonna just this is essentially just an 8.5 file load of BSP. There's nothing here in the PDF except this. When I click that, I'm gonna note my page, perp to perp, right? I can go over here to my pages and layout, perp to perp. That's the detail I want. Now what this is a view in a SketchUp model, right? If we look at
Justin, do you have to have layout open or
no, it will open layout, but layout likes to take a long time to open. But if layout is not open, it will open layout for
And then open that sketch or scrapbook
Yep.
file.
absolutely.
So for in this scrapbook, have everything preloaded.
So I missed the first part.
Your entire library is preloaded in your scrapbook.
Yes.
Which are now not so large because he was in the right models to preload.
Right. So the idea was to make it how fast can our drafter find a detail who doesn't know where that detail exists. So we look here. This is the SketchUp model of the scene, perp to perp, 2-ply beam, wall below. Right. Then we got all this. This is just layout text. And these are just meters. We've changed our style a little bit in new ones, but this is how we used to do it.
So being the professor, have you figured out a way, which would be really cool for using keynotes, to embed the data into each one of the components or groups, and then you could automatically.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had that internal pleasant argument, let's call it. And mostly me pleasant arguing myself in my head, so no one had to listen to it. The problem I have with that is if our drafter who, if they're a new drafter and they don't really know what's going on, I don't want them to have copy something and then not catch it on the internal data. So I know that's how you do your details, where you've got, essentially a bunch of embedded data and you just come in and you're going to grab, put out a math.
I remember a way you can do it with keynotes.
Yeah, I have to play with it. Yeah.
What are you saying when you say keynotes?
Keynotes are using a numbering system, so instead of having a note with a leer to the element, this is using a substitute and then creates the list. Right now with SketchUp and AutoText, you can embed whatever you want your note to be in a component or group, and you can use AutoText with your reader to identify it. So you don't have to type up in there.
Oh yeah. What we did was we standardized was get where you do keynotes. And this just goes back to the scrapbook thing we talked about really briefly. Let's just say we didn't have this one label already. I'll just grab the scene.
And the old school, and probably still done today, was it used to all keynotes would be done CSI for now. Okay. What kind of this mess? You're always looking at 5-digit number.
So if we look at the scrapbooks, how to do these, especially if you're drawing a detail from scratch, and it's just been so what we have here, if I want to do this, you can come in really quickly. I have all this stuff pre-built, so if you've got four detail colors you use, often stuff like that,
Yeah.
come in and then we just come in and start labeling this thing. micro bit or just some of the back. One of the big keys is the nomenclature we develop stays consistent throughout all your details. But let's do one other one because I kind of skipped the step I didn't mean to, and I'm thinking too fast. So let's go on here. Let's just take this detail. We're not going to do anything crazy to it, but let's move back to generating a detail from the detail library, right? So we opened this one up. Let's go here. Let's copy the title of the scene. This is what made it brilliant in SketchUp when they released the ability to search scenes. That changed the entire approach that we can do in this library. Let it open. You will see why in just a sec. Hey. As long as it doesn't crash, hey, we're gonna be good. We also brought people this laptop. We did bring on this laptop. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. There it goes. Okay. Snaky.
I got my new version in the bag.
This isn't working. So what we've got here is it comes down to how do we get to that detail to copy it, to save it to a new file with Enterot to create our new detail. This little addition is unbelievable. I actually was talking to the Knowledge Hub people about this yesterday, and they're like, well, how do you do this? And I'm like, well, there's a search function. So in layout, right, we know the scene we're looking for. Right there, let's just copy that. Let's come back to that detail. Further detail. All, copy, extensions, memorize view, close, open the new SketchUp. Then we do the same process we just did.
Wow. So you're making models for each one of these details. They keep the project that's common.
When you're doing a custom thing, so if we think about for us internally, we're running anywhere from 40 to 100 projects a year, right? And so if we have a custom detail that does not get immediately added to the library, in our office, I'm the only one that gets to mess with the library because no one else gets to screw it up. If I screw it up, that's my fault. But otherwise, what we'll have is inside each job folder, you have a custom detail location, right? And you're going to save a custom details for that job into that location so that it's referencing right there immediately in layout. If you don't have to make any changes to that detail, or you're just changing a call out layout, you don't have to do anything to that model. Just copy and paste it, your detail, and move on. So this one, we'll paste it in.
So why would you be creating a custom?
Let's just say I have let's take this one for example.
I've done an example for you. Say you've got a wood designed right in front of it on the side.
Oh yeah, but I drew that one from scratch. There was another in my library for that, Nick. We're ready to draw that one from scratch. Sorry. He calls me and goes, hey, you've got this back-to-back wood strong wall, and I've got a vent that goes right through it. Can we do that? Okay, give me half an hour. Anyways.
For an hour, you had the revised drawing with the escape for the inspector on site.
Yeah, I love this one. And that's after calling me. Yeah, what do you think of this idea? Okay, so anyways, it's up back here. This is the off topic here. Eric, remind me what your question was? You said why?
Why were you creating a custom
That's
detail model if you're only changing a call out?
Well, you wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. If you're only changing a call out, you wouldn't, right? Okay. But if you're going to come in and say, if you make this one, like Persipera or something, or I'll see you got at least three yet. There it was. That's what you were looking at. It freaks out, even though it's on the same style. The style is correct, but the style name is not when it brings it in. So I just go to our custom detail style, and then when I add the scene, it's good, right? So let's just say this one in, I don't know, let's just say they want to make this decking or something. Doesn't really matter. Or we just have a concrete floor in it. Oh my God. Come on. Okay, that was the bad button to click there on me. Okay, so the process I would have done here is we would have changed the color of the plywood, right? I would save this thing, I would go back to layout right here, and I would come in and I would just relink, right? Click there, relink the model reference. When you do have multiple scenes, the same model in a page, and you only want to update the one model reference, you cannot do that through doc setup up here, because that will update the reference for all of the details in that file. So what you do is we come in and we relink with a right click, and that will relink that model only. Everything else will stay the same. See if that caught out. Oh, it did. Cool. Let's just, cool. Steal, that's fun. And we're just gonna go there. I guess that was an architectural request. How about that? Okay. We'll probably steal for it. Steal. Yeah. Yeah. Install the thing now. Go there. Now we will right click just this model. Relink. And there we go. And then for this one, I know we're gonna have to add, we'll just call this neat. Cool. And this is a not so awesome steel horde. Right.
Well, I got a friend that's a metalsmith.
I know, so it's hitting an awesome steel. Well, yeah, okay. Okay, that is the gist of the detail library. Again, there's so many details in there, it's almost comical. Do we have questions? Continuing questions? Yeah.
Your master directory of your custom details. That's the same relative position for anyone who might open that model.
Yeah. Our detail library, it is something we are distributing. It is for sale. And so when we do that, we have actually set it up so our internal version pops to a different drive than the version that you would install in your own PC. And we do that straight into the C drive as a ZE library, so that's never going to change.
You have Mac drive.
Well, we actually don't. It's why we went to the C, so you don't have to. If we don't have people that know computers that well, it's always going to get installed to the C drive, and then
Not through a user.
no, not through a user. As in, right now, we could do that and we could very set it up that way, but
Break your connection.
great, you don't want to break the connection. So we do it with map drives internally. The first version that we've put out for public use didn't do that. Probably we'll switch to a map drive, and we'll just teach people how to map that drive.
Well, just say you're working on user Zach desktop layout file, and you're mapping to your drive relative and layout. So when that's first who opens that C file on there.
Well, that's why we didn't set up the initial version for public to be able to work on a network. We did just for the local user right there. Again, that's something we're working on for future releases, but you have to cut the tight somewhere to get it out. But I see what you're saying. So internally, that's how we do it. It goes to a mapped drive on our server, and everyone is referencing that one drive. So all the files go there, and you have our own links. So it's doable.
There's videos of each step along this process that describe how to install it, where to install it, why it's installed there.
Yeah, it's very, I see where you're going with it. It's doable. Even if it's just a workaround, but it's very doable. Yeah. Anything else on the library? I kind of talked really fast, guys, so we do have a little bit extra time. So I'm going to hop into some full Excel stuff to lay out, unless we got some more library questions. Marvin questions on details. I hope you followed me okay. I tend to talk quick. No? Okay, cool. So let's look at some new stuff. I don't have this like totally prepped, so bear with me as I talk through it. So let's go to, who knows that Excel can talk to layout? Has anyone done that with anything? A little bit? A little bit. A little bit? Okay. So what we've got is, for this one, essentially think of a project and you've got, I don't know, let's just say 10 different layout files for the same project. All right, and just throw out a random number. So that's somewhere in the range for us. Usually it's a little bit more. But you've got the tedious task or the copy paste task of us saying redo the title log. Okay, not hard, but it takes time. And what happens is after you're totally said and done, and then, oh God, you have to give you the amount of grass. Nick, I'm not talking about you. And then I got to go back and I got to fix all those, but I got to submit in the next 10 minutes. What am I going to do? Right? It takes time. It's very, very easy. Anyone could do it, but to go into all those files, open all those files, open up, triple click, go in, update. It's a pain, right? So here's what we started doing. So we're just going to call this a job, whatever. We're going to say Basecamp fun. Oh, if it wants to catch up to me. This is one of our Excel calc files. So you even do this with any calc file or any Excel file, any calc file. Date, and we'll just call this November. It's thinking, doesn't like their macros. Unclided. Okay. There's a spell. Basecamp plus, yay. Straight, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 made. Vegas. Look at that. County, no, God, what county am I that water? Clark, was it? Clark. Oh, Clark, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we have created, what we've noticed is this is a little bit of a workaround. I'll explain it in a second, but all this data is now ready to go into our title block. So we're just gonna save that. Right, I'm gonna come into my docs. I'm reasoning this one. One. That's what we're looking at. Oh, cool. That's kind of fun. Oh, I forgot the AKN. I'll just try to oops. Oh, chief. That's just, it doesn't matter for now. Faster, right? Excel is faster than layout when you're typing.
So each one of those is just everything entirely.
Yeah, you just have to come in and generate
Refers to the same sheet.
Yeah, it's a reference to a specific cell. Oh, not it. So it's
Each one of those references is specific.
a specific cell. So if I look at the cell reference options, it's going to that page, and I'm telling it to not pull in the Excel referencing, to leave it as layout referencing that I've spent time mashing what I want the title block to look like here. And it'll do all this. So
It's how it's a bit the exact. So
So pick the exact cell and build from there. On the detailing side, this opens up a lot of possibilities on our custom king stud details and connection callouts. It's auto generating all the quantities for each project based on the wind loads, tributaries, heights, the whole 9 yards. So every job is different. You don't have to then go into what that would look like. I'll just grab it real quick for you. You don't have to go in to, say, this table, and you can imagine going in and by hand updating each one of these cells to the correct quantity, or even checking, if your drafter does it, or you want to double check your work, going in and doing this, that's going to take a lot of time, right? So if you've checked your process in Excel, so what it will look like here is this is all based on our calculations. And then the one time you relink it, or if you change it and you update the reference, it's all going to update layout for you. That's the big one on the detail side. In the next presentation, in a little bit, we are doing it with anchor bolt schedule style.
I was going to say easier for schedule.
Easier for schedules. Like the sky's the limit. And we've just scratched the surface of how this can kind of speed up our plan sets. But think of code references. Think of all that stuff. If you've got IBC versus CBC, all of that stuff can be updated and then based on the state you're putting in, right? It can then know to update all of your nodes and schedules. It just takes a lot of time to build this stuff and a lot of time to think through it.
I typed out an electrical schedule in Excel, and I didn't want any lines in it. But when I imported it into layout, there's a bunch of lines that I could not get rid of.
So the lines in the tables in layout are kind of a pain sometimes. So if we just do this and generate, your table, right? It looks something like that ish, right? So what you have to do is you give me a second. I don't have to do this very often, but when we go into if we click the line directly and then turn your stroke off, it'll disappear. And then when you're doing your cell reference, right, turn off the import formatting.
I think what he's referring to, and I have run into there's that same problem, is if you create an entire table area, cell, and then you want to have it read in layout, the formatting just doesn't turn across that shading cells or no line where it brings in every single line in the grid. It's a big pain.
It's a pain, and that's why it takes a minute to get the first one right. I ran into that, and it might be a little bit different. It's a different situation. But like on these, all these were junk when I brought them in the first time.
Yeah.
And you have to go in, make it how you want it, line it up, and then turn off that reference here. And when I did that, it worked for me. This import Excel formatting, just turn it off.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, so that's when you reference it. Are you referencing or are you inserting?
I was just copy pasting.
Oh, okay. Do it as an insert. Insert the file. So up here.
And the one of the other options that I did was I created a template in SketchUp for the formatting of the schedule I want, and then I overlay it with the Excel one so I can white out ones or shades in between, break up the lookers.
Yeah, lots of ways to do it, but if you can get the formatting you like in that table and then turn off that, right click it and go to your Excel reference offers, if you just paste, I'm pretty sure it's just pasting in the table. It will not talk. If you insert that as a non-macro enabled Excel file, it will talk and reference. Has to be non-macro though. So you see on ours, I've got this work and in-between file. This is called, example to layout. This is not macro. Our calc file will have macros in them, and layout hates macros. It calls it a risk. It will not import that file. So I have to take it from one Excel really quickly into the other one, and then take that as a layout. That took a lot of trial and error to figure out. And now once it's there, make it how you want. And then, reference options, turn off your cell formatting, and you should be good.
I'll try that with that file that I created. This you clip about 10 minutes. Talking about how we number our adjectives per age.
Oh, well, how about that?
Just one quick I'll throw out is I don't use all of my kind of lock stuff is done in a model,
Yep, that's the way to do it.
and I love it just because it updates. I guess I changed the sheet size.
It goes where you should. Yeah, lots of ways to do it. For us, it's just how we found is the quickest way for us to do it. But yeah, even there's not a way to do it. I'm sure we can sit here and brainstorm and come up with 8 or 9 other ways to do it too. A lot of this stuff is SketchUp and layout. It's all about how complicated do you want to make it work for you, right? You can make it as basic, as complicated, whatever works for your process. There's so many things that are possible, right? All these different presentations here, you're going to walk around and I'm going to contradict someone else, is going to contradict someone else. We might agree on this, but guess what? All our processes work, right? It's about what works the best and most efficient for your setup. And this is what we found works the best for our style, our setup, and then which relates into the library. And our library then talks to layout. And so it's, for those people that don't have those systems, I recommend our style system. I think it works the best. Those that have other systems that work great, by all means, if that works for you, that's great, right? Did mention how we label. So let's talk about that really, really fast. Our detail sheets, and actually, let's do this in a real set, real fast. This is actually a project. Mr. Slosky will be talking about this tomorrow. So we've got our cover page, full 3D PDF on the cover, right? Yeah, and we'll talk about this later tomorrow, but really quick. Now this is the old school version. We've changed a little bit since then, but it's the same concept. So S0, so 0 in this set is denoting details, and then 1 is the page number, and we go straight from that page number and right? There. What actually this allows us to do, as we'll show it really quick, is actually hyperlink our plan sets. So if we come down and let's just say we want to look at, I'll find a good one, this detail right here, and not in a PDF plan set. I have 607. Well, what's the way you do that? You can go back to page 6 because you know where that is and go from there, or we can just cook it. So we can go to 607. Oh, that's the detail I was looking for, right? Pretty good idea. I'm done there. I can go back. Oh, what about this one? 905. What's going on there? 905. I think you should better links too. Say what? Gather links. Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Nah, so it's a detailing presentation. You're like throwing it out here on you. So the signs that the other one we started hyperlinking, which is a great deal. It works in your details. Actually, let's do it from a detail.
So are you having to set the hyperlink for each one? To each details? It's
No, I do it in Bluebeam. Sorry, I do it in Bluebeam. It's a batch like that.
I'm saying in Bluebeam now you are.
I batch link it. So linking an entire set like that takes me 10 seconds. Oh, really 15 seconds. So if we look at, we find a Simpson product here.
God, so it's recognizing that actual 3-digit number.
Here's a big example. So, PSB, Oslo, I don't have the old age yet, I'm sorry. Finds this. 6224. This one not hyperload? Some of you on the internet? I'm on the internet. Hold on. I'll get there, guys. Of course, I can't find a Simpson pull-out. This one's not hyperlinked. Sorry, that's that.
So we're doing reverse.
No, it won't reverse. But if you're in Bluebeam and you use the step back button, it's essentially reverse art. But I can't go, and that's because there's only one detail, but multiple positions that detail might occur in pages. So where does it send you? It doesn't know.
Do you relate that to all the contractors?
No, I can't. I got tried. There's a big note on there and shows built into the hardware. Yeah, here we go. This is one that just got submitted, and we actually just finished up the steel shop drawings on it. That was the description, right, Barron? Yeah, here we go. This will work. So this is our, this is on every plan set because you'd be amazed how many contractors can figure that out. It's relatively intuitive, but this helps. But in addition to the detail linking, we also have this built into all our plan sets. Oh, cool. What is an HUC? That's a Simpson hanger, which now is opened up, and I can visualize what that is. Well, the internet's not working well, but you get the concept. It actually calls up Simpson catalog or to that red tail, show what it is, and it also describes how it's talk. There you go. So it's giving you everything you need straight off of the plan set, which in the field says it's a draw.
That's individualized to put the hurricane straps on our site now.
Yeah, it's an app. So once I take it, I compile the whole set. I'm running a bash link, which it doesn't run as very. We're looking at it on my house computer ties. And you're just running essentially a CSV file, and because it can't read straight, so it's got to be a CSV. And then you can go through it, bash link it, and it'll run through the whole thing. You need to go back and clean it up a little bit on some of the hyperlinks, like if you have for the detail version. Like if I'm calling it a stem elevation at 100, it's going to read that as detail 100. So I always go back because it's just looking for the numbers. So I'm just going to go back and would delete that hyperlink. So if they click 100 on the stem, like it doesn't really matter, but I get annoyed by that. So it takes me 3 minutes to set to clean up, but I blew up. Yeah.
You do the linking, like in the looping. Are you doing anything in layout?
To prep for that? No.
It's just your number system. Okay, so that's a really question that
Yeah. Yeah, how that works. Find me tomorrow. I can watch it through a little bit more. But it is a Bluebeam. I try to do that stuff through layout and make it talk between it, and it's not capable yet. It might be soon, the stuff that's coming, but it's not currently there. So that was our workaround. Yeah, so we got 5 minutes left. Our next course is going to be just down the hall here, and it's going to be our modeling process. This is the gateway drug. If you want to convert an engineer from AutoCAD to SketchUp, that's the one you want to adopt. We're considering boxing out, putting a ribbon on our modeling process, and putting it out to the world. And that is for very low price. You could have an engineer break away from AutoCAD and be entirely in SketchUp in 3 or 4 weeks with a full project. That's all to redo, the first project with you.
Yep. Is that including the engineering or just like the convert?
No, just doing the entire model, the plan setup, and all the details. And that would be here's how to use SketchUp and layout to generate your plan size. We're not going to tell you how to do your own engineering, but we will. Here's the process to take that and put it on paper using these softwares.
I already could get my version of structure into a model. So if I have an engineer that you can receive that, then a lot of the modeling's already done.
Sure.
So then
They could take that process, right? And essentially, and if you're working with them, you could use the layering system ahead of time, right? Drop it in for them, they drop it in, open it up, and when the layout templates that match, and there's their set. They just have to run through how they would normally want to label and showcase their stuff at that point. Yeah, all very possible. All of our stuff is based on how Nick set it up. Starting at 1. Yeah.
So it works and it continues to work really well. And then drastically briefed our professor.
You know about drastic? I was going to change it. I certainly didn't change it. I span it. Yeah. Anyways, any other questions? Was there any I don't know.
Is it next?
Yeah, it's either dashed. It's in half an hour or beyond the way. It will be a full. So there it is. Scroll by instead. That's the one. Thank you. That one's not going to be as choppy, but that one we are going to actually build that full plan set. We're not doing it for a massive Nick home. I'm going to do it for a little home. Right? It's only an hour, but that's what that one's going to be about. Visit our website, check it out. We've got the store, talk about the detailing package. We also are looking for an interest link on the plan process on link stuff, and there's a link on our website. You click in there, put your info in. If we get enough interest, we'll create it. People don't want to purchase it because I have to call Jesse or production to just actually create to finish here. Yeah, which is very expensive. Thank you for coming and hanging out and listening to my railways and the jumpy back and forth, but I hope you got a little bit out of it. You're welcome to come find me. I'll be wandering around the halls to talk some more. So, thank you very much.